Hey everyone, this is Derek Bros, the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we're going to talk about more censorship that is coming our way and what you should expect in the coming weeks, months, and years. More of the same, unfortunately. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com. This is the home for our latest content. All of my work, my books, which you can download for free, my documentaries, which you can watch for free out here, articles I've written, podcasts from our team, and as well following us on independent alternative social media channels. And this is going to become increasingly important in these coming days. It already is important. So many of you have not got the message yet, but if you haven't, please follow us on minds.com. I'm trying to keep Minds updated. Follow us on Hive. I'm updating Hive every day. Follow our Discord channel. I don't really go in there, but people chat and talk and communicate in there, and so join the community. Sign up for our text list. This way you can get text updates right to your phone every time I put out a new video or a new article. Follow us on float.app/consciousresistance. It's a brand new social media platform that is kind of a mix of a lot of them. You can follow people, you can donate to people with cryptocurrency, you can do all kinds of fun stuff there. Of course, BitChute is where a lot of our videos are backed up. And of course, patreon.com/DerekBros where you can support me. I'm also on Library for those who use the Library, LBRY, Library website. You can find the Conscious Resistance there now and get all of our content. Okay, guys, let's just get right into it. Yesterday, Sunday, 4/19, happy 4/20, by the way, YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says users are using the platform during the coronavirus crisis. It started with basic information, but now users want to know about life under quarantine, like exercise at home. How do I fix my freezer? How do I give myself a haircut? And I think this is really interesting because they basically talk about how she's talking about how people are starting to search for all kinds of mundane things, and they're learning about how to wash their hands and just interesting things on YouTube, which, I mean, I've talked about this before. YouTube has a lot of great content, not just conspiracy content. YouTube University is what we call it. For anybody who's ever had to go to YouTube and learn how to troubleshoot something, that's kind of common. And so they're talking about like that's happening more often now because people are home. But then they talk about wanting to boost quote authoritative sources, and then also, of course, remove videos that do not agree with the World Health Organization. I mean, listen to what they say here. If your content goes against what the World Health Organization says, then it likely can and likely will be taken down. Check this out.
Make sure that users are getting the right information. We've actually seen a 75% increase in the news coming from authoritative sources since the beginning of 2020. So we've seen a lot of demand there. But then we also
What does that mean? That means an increase in video views for those?
Yeah, and so we talk about that as raising authoritative information. But then we also talk about removing information that is problematic. You know, of course, anything that is medically unsubstantiated, so people saying like, take vitamin C, take turmeric, like those all will cure you. Those are the examples of things that would be a violation of our policy. Anything that would go against World Health Organization recommendations would be a violation of our policy. And so remove is another really important part of our policy.
So you're not just putting the truth next to the lie, you're taking the lie down. That's a pretty aggressive approach.
Well, I mean, we do remove, across YouTube in non-pandemic times, information that is a violation of our policy. And we've had community guidelines since the very beginning of YouTube, and we've always, anything that is a violation of our policy, we do remove it. And what was really unique about this was just how fast-moving the COVID-19 crisis was. And so we've had to make numerous policy changes all within a really short period of time to be able to make sure that we stayed abreast of the changes. So, for example, just recently there was a theory that 5G was causing coronavirus symptoms. Now, no established health organization says that 5G is the source of the issue. And so that we quickly deemed that a violation of our policies with COVID-19 and remove that content.
Yeah, everyone's YouTube is different. Are there certain videos that basically everybody is seeing? Because
All right, we're going to just stop it there because I can't stand that freaking Brian CNN guy. He's from reliable sources. But did you hear that? They said of course she kind of brags like, oh, we've been taking videos down long before this pandemic. But also, again, if it's not in line with the World Health Organization or what a, quote, established medical authority says, they could take it down. So, for example, the video I just posted earlier today with Dr. Richard Chang on the benefits of high-dose vitamin C. He's already had his videos taken down by YouTube. It's likely this video could get taken down because she specifically says false treatments like vitamin C, turmeric, and others, which, by the way, they're not false. But that's the message that they want you to see, which is, again, going back to me going on, you guys who get annoyed with me talking in the beginning of the videos. I go on about these alternative social media platforms because we need to use them. That's how they're going to grow. Otherwise, they're not going to grow, and we're going to be stuck dealing with freaking Twitter and YouTube and Google. And obviously, we know that you don't get all the information. You don't get the truth there. If you're just doing a Google search and thinking you're getting all the information, then you need to wise up. Now, one more piece of news that is just bad. Facebook announces that they're going to be banning events organizing on their platform that will try to organize lockdown protests, ban protests that defy government guidance on distancing. Some Americans are protesting government-mandated business closures, shelter-in-place orders, and social distancing guidance designed to save lives. Many protests are being organized on Facebook, and now the social network is contending with many protest-oriented groups and pages where misinformation and conspiracy theories around COVID-19 thrive. Protests have already taken place in Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Minnesota, Indiana, Colorado, Washington, Maryland, Utah, and Texas. They didn't mention Texas, but there was some bigger protests in Texas. The movement is being given life by conservative groups with ties to Trump. That is true, but it's not just a right-wing thing, I would say. Unfortunately, it's being turned into a sort of right-wing thing, and the people who are against the lockdowns who might not support Trump aren't going to feel welcome overall. Facebook spokesperson told Motherboard over the weekend that the social network would allow protest events as long as they do not fall afoul of government guidance on social distancing, but will ban ones that do. They said, quote, unless the government prohibits the events during this time, we will allow it to be organized on Facebook. For this same reason, events that defy government's guidance on social distance aren't allowed on Facebook. Many U.S. states have banned large gatherings as part of social distancing measures, and guidance on protests is an evolving patchwork, although the law of the land in terms of the Constitution has, of course, not been suspended. Not yet. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer clarified that protests are allowed in the state last week, but police in Raleigh, North Carolina, arrested a protester and tweeted that protesting is a non-essential activity and not allowed. Organizers in Raleigh are nonetheless planning to protest this week, which Republican Congressman Dan Bishop plans to attend. They are seeking confirmation from Governor Roy Cooper that protesters won't be arrested. In New Jersey, police filed criminal charges against a protest organized for violating emergency stay-at-home orders. In California, police did not make arrests at Huntington Beach protests that defied stay-at-home orders. And Congressman, or I think they meant to say Governor, Gavin Newsom has not commented on the protest, but encouraged people to stay home. According to a Facebook statement to Washington Post, the company has removed protest events both in New Jersey and California. Facebook typically follows the law in whatever jurisdiction it happens to be operating within, which has led to numerous problems with moderating a global platform. For example, when the company was found to have violated the law in Canada, it simply said that it did not agree and nothing happened. Now that Facebook appears to be deferring to government guidance during an unparalleled crisis, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so you can see what's happening here is they're shutting down protest organizing on Facebook, which you shouldn't be doing there anyways. Do it on freedomcells.org or some other platform. They're saying, the YouTube CEO is saying they're going to take down videos and content that doesn't agree with the World Health Organization line. And then I just want to throw this one in here because this is a part of the larger battle of fake news, right? Quote unquote fake news. So somebody sent this to me. A listener sent this from notion.so, which is a website. I think it's a free online education website. And this course is all about how to fact check fake news. And, I've just started taking it to kind of see what exactly this thing is trying to put in people's heads. And the people that it's funded by, the Aspen Institute, things like that, they're basically connected to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They have some funding. I'm not saying they are Bill and Melinda Gates, but they have some funding. So these kinds of events and these kinds of classes are out there. And so somebody, let's just imagine some normie, young person, decides like, you know what, I am kind of confused. There's a lot of fake information out there. And, these people are telling me the coronavirus is bad. These people are telling me it's kind of good, or, there's nothing to worry about. Maybe I should take a fact-checking class and learn how to fact check things, right? And fact check these various claims. So then they take this course called Fake Out from News Literacy. And step one here, let's just watch this short video, which is all about checking the claim. And I think this is the one I want to show you guys. So check this real quick.
Skill. Check a claim. This seems interesting. But is this true? Quick check. Web search. A quick check can help you tell if a claim is credible. Type keywords into a Google search bar. And then examine the results. The first result is from a reliable fact-checking source. Let's take a look. Uh-oh. Snopes is an independent fact-checking site. You can trust this source. False. Look for work from fact-checking sites to see if a claim has been proven false. A web search can also let you know if a claim is true. Let's try this one. Did this happen? The New York Times, CNN, and The Guardian. Many reliable news sources are reporting this story, so you can be confident it happened. True. A quick search can tell you a lot about a claim or story. Stop. Check. Don't get fooled.
So that was just a piece of it. There's more to this as well. But did you see, even just in that 1.5-minute video, they say the New York Times is a trustworthy source. Also, they're teaching people that researching just means do a Google search. Then they show Snopes and say Snopes is credible. Then if it comes from the New York Times, if it comes from the BBC, it's credible. Make sure to use the Facebook fact checkers if it's coming from the BBC, CNN, The Guardian. I mean, and I'm not saying those sources never have truth, but that's the message that they're putting in people's heads, is that, in order for you to understand what truth is, for one, trust a Google search. And then the second is trust these, these various outlets that they're linking to. There's one more thing I want to see if I can find here for you guys. It was a very interesting one because it pushes the idea that there's no problem with fluoride and fluoride's all good. Follow this link. Thank you guys for having some patience. This video, my whole point of showing you this video is how YouTube's going to be censoring more, possibly taking down channels. Facebook's blocking your attempts to organize, and how that ties into the quote-unquote battle against fake news, right? And there are outlets like this. There are news organizations out there pretending to be legitimate. So here again is Fake Out, right? So this is the course. You have you have 10 questions here, and you're supposed to just determine true or false. You have no context here, so there's no way to really determine what are you supposed to determine that by. My guess is they want you to see that, USA Today is a credible source. So I'm going to say no. Whoops, they're saying the story is true. Okay, well, let me try again. Average person swallows plastic equivalent to credit card every week. It's from the Telegraph. I'm going to say false. Whoops, that's true. But do you get what I'm saying here, guys? There's no context. How else would you know whether this is credible other than just to trust the mainstream source? I'm going to say this is false. I'm trying to get to a certain story, so bear with me. Woman gets super glued to toilet seat. Okay, that story is true. Great. And then check this out. Water fluoridation linked to diabetes and low IQ, which is definitely true. I've covered the various studies, and there's dozens of them, if not hundreds, over the years. This is coming from Mercola.com, and I'm not saying that Dr. Mercola is necessarily trustworthy and everything. I think he can be a little bit hyperbolic. Some people from the mainstream call him a quack, but the message that they're trying to get out to the people who are taking this Fake Out course, how to educate yourself and how to detect fake news, is that this, I would click true, right? Let's click true. Oh, sorry, this story is false. Do you get what I'm pointing at here? These are subtle ways where they're telling people there's no reason to worry about fluoride. The New York Times and Guardian and BBC are trustworthy. Snopes is trustworthy. This is how you fact check. Go to do a Google search and just believe what you see. So thank you to the listener who sent this to me. I'm looking more into it again. Like I said, it seems to be funded by the Aspen Institute. The Aspen Institute is at least in part funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And this is just some of what we're dealing with out here, guys. They're going to be taking people down off YouTube for talking about vitamin C or turmeric or going against the World Health Organization. Facebook's going to try to limit your ability to organize. And this is why you need to leave those platforms and use these other platforms, because these other platforms exist. And I left Facebook for so long, and I had to come back because of this whole coronavirus thing to try to reach more people. I made that choice, but also a big part of it, the reason I even have to make that choice is because when I left and I spent months telling people, I'm going to leave, please follow me elsewhere, people stayed. They refused to make a move. They're lazy, or they don't like change. I don't know what it is, but if that's as good as we can do, then we're not going to make it very far. So please follow me on Minds, follow me on Hive, join our Discord channel, get my text list updates. That's most important. Follow on Float, follow on BitChute, follow on Library, follow anywhere other than just YouTube and Facebook. I'm thankful for all my YouTube and Facebook followers and listeners, but we got to be moving on past these platforms. We can't be dependent on them. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you appreciate this. If you did, please subscribe, like, follow, share. And if you want to support, join at patreon.com/DerekBros. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.